Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm going to be getting ready and I'm using as many new products that I picked up during the Sephora sale as I can. Well, there's one that I'm leaving in my drawer, and that's the eyeshadow palette that I recently used. But I picked up a new foundation that I have to try today. New concealer, blush, powder, eyeliner, mascara, you name it, I got it. All right, so I am going to start by I can't believe that I've been on YouTube this long and have never tried the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I think a lot of it was because I never really thought that the lightest shade that they carried in 1.5 was the right shade for me. And I feel like over the last couple of years, my skin is getting a little bit darker, and that could be a little bit of melasma going on, some more hyperpigmentation as I age. And so I feel like this shade in 1.5 actually works pretty well for me. Maybe I'm not staying out of the sun as much as I should, but I'm going to start with a couple of pumps of this on the back of my hand. Ooh, I love how it just kind of runs. Ooh, that is nice. And then just add this around my face where I need it. Maybe I didn't need two pumps. Maybe I'm wishful thinking here. When my oldest daughter started wearing makeup, she and I used to be able to share the same shade of foundation, and she really hasn't changed shade. I just have gotten a little bit darker. And so I'm noticing that now she's not going to be able to use this foundation unless she picks up a little extra color during the summer, but I'm hoping she lives in sunscreen like I've taught her, and that she's really careful about making sure that she stays out of the sun. I do think this is such a beautiful formula. And I feel like dabbing into it, boy, it's all gone on the back of my hand with my beauty blender means I'm getting a lot of it just stuck in the beauty blender itself. But I do really like the way that it looks on the skin. It looks really pretty. My favorite thing about this is the third time that I've put it on my face since I purchased it, is that it looks so much like my skin. That is just like the most beautiful part of this formula, is that it looks so natural. Well, I hope you're doing well and that you managed to get through the Sephora sale without overspending. I definitely spent more than I intended to, but keep in mind I have a beauty budget. I specifically have money set aside for things like this, so I never want you to feel like you're trying to keep up with someone like me or another content creator, because there is money that is specifically earmarked for this. It's hard to keep up with somebody like me, and you really shouldn't try. All right, let's throw on the House Labs concealer. This I have in I think it's one of the lightest fair shades. It's Fair Neutral 04. I put this on yesterday and I had some problems with it sticking to some dry patches underneath my eyes that I didn't even know I had. And I wasn't sure whether that was a matter of me not exfoliating well. I usually don't take the exfoliant up to underneath my eyes. But sometimes a warm muslin cloth and a little bit of friction can get some of that off. Or whether it was my eye cream that was not working well with this concealer. I don't know. So I skipped the eye cream today. I just have on SPF, and I'm going to see whether this sits better, because I was really struggling with the way it looked underneath my eyes, because it seemed to be catching on every single patch of dry skin. And I wasn't sure if it was dry skin or whether it was my under eye cream like behaving badly. I feel like this is pretty nice. All right, so I don't have any over here. I do have some here. I'm going to build it up in a couple of places where I feel like I need just a little bit more coverage. I've heard so many people say this is their favorite concealer. I like it so far, except for when it behaved badly yesterday. But then again, I don't know what the circumstances were for that, so we're trying it again. But I don't feel like it has as much coverage as some other concealers that I have in my collection. I feel like it does a good job. I'm going to hit a couple of places here where I have some darkness. All right, so concealed and not concealed. Let's do the other side. I like how it's a little bit thicker texturally than some of the other concealers that I have. Some of them are thick like this, and some other ones are definitely a little bit thinner and a little bit closer consistent wise to like a liquid. This feels on the verge of almost being moussey. If you've never tried this concealer, I think it's working and doing a pretty good job. I added just a little bit more to my tear trough, and I'm going to blend out using an A506 brush from BK. I'm really trying to hide that blue mark like right here. All right, here's the one thing I have yet to try. This is the Micro Smooth Powder. It's a natural radiant sort of powder from the Sephora collection. I have never tried this. I have the lightest neutral shade in 15. There is a shade that's lighter, but it's a cool undertone. And since I have a neutral undertone, I was like, I don't want it to look pink on my face. So I went with this one, and I'm okay. Just making sure that I don't have anything settled in the creases, because I am going to hit my under eye with this. I don't know if that's a good idea, but we're going to do it. I'm going to start just kind of press and roll. I don't know that I love this under my eyes. That's one of the things I'm always looking for, is a powder that is going to work everywhere on my face. And my under eyes, that's always a spot where if it's not going to work really well and it's going to make me look a little bit dry or a little bit more textured than I'd want to appear, that's where it really shows up. I feel like on the rest of my face, it's doing a pretty good job, but under my eyes, it's not my favorite. This is a ×5 mirror, and I'm able to really to see up close how things are going. I feel like the concealer looks a lot better under the eyes than it did the last time I used it. I think it might have been my my under eye cream that was having a problem texturally with the House Labs concealer. So I feel like the concealer is looking better. I just see a little bit more of my under eye texture than I would like, especially since this is supposed to be like a micro smooth powder. I mean, there's a couple of places where I feel like it's not set, even though I was kind of careful with it. So I'm just going to press them in with my finger in hopes that keeps the concealer from traveling or settling more into the crinkles underneath my eyes. Does it look like the best ever? No. Does it look bad? Also, no. I just feel like this sort of powder would be great all over the face, but I would want to use a dedicated under eye powder, like the one from Pat McGrath or the old Givenchy Prismalie powder. I love that under the eyes. I still have like 2 large containers of that. Not the reformulation, but the old version of it. There's a lot of powders that work really well underneath my eyes, like the Hourglass powders. This one is not doing me any like favors. The other ones actually kind of make it look like even better than it was. But I feel like this is really great all over the rest of my skin, where it does look blurred, where it does look really smooth. I only have my T-zone set today. So I have my forehead, my nose, my under eyes, and my chin. And I feel like it looks pretty good. I definitely feel like this is a good product. It's just not for mature under eyes. That's what I would say. I'm going to use the contour from Dior today. I need just a little bit of color, not too much. I'm gearing up for a trip next week. My mom is going to be having surgery on one of her fingers. Poor thing, she broke her finger in January, and it was 2 days before she was supposed to leave to go see my niece for her 7th birthday. And my mom, devoted grandmother that she is, she's like, I'm not skipping my trip. I will tape my finger next to the one next to it. I'll buddy them up, and I'm going to go see my granddaughter for her birthday. And so that's what happened. And by the time they got snowed in for a little bit, and their flight got delayed, and by the time they got home 10 days later, her orthopedic surgeon said, your finger has already started to heal, so now we're going to have to let it heal completely, and then we'll have to go in and do surgery later, where once the swelling has gone down, we'll have to re-break it. So my poor mom, oh, I feel so bad for her. She's going to have surgery, and she's right-handed, and it's her right ring finger, and I'm just so sad for her. But I was like, you know what? You're going to need help. You can't do anything. I don't know that she'd be able to drive very well. I don't know what sort of pain she's going to be in. She won't be able to do stuff in the kitchen. Well, she'll need help getting dressed, like all of that sort of stuff. Because the last thing you want to do is to bump something like that after it's been through surgery. So I'm going to go help my mom for a couple of weeks. The fun part is my brother is also going to be visiting. I'm going to be putting on the new Rare Beauty Matte Bouncy Blush. This is in the shade Happy, and it's a really pretty cool pink shade. It's described as cool pink. I think it's actually a little more neutral than I thought, but I'm just going to take a BK 107 and just kind of lightly pounce it in there and then hit the cheek with it because I want some color. I just don't want too much. And the one thing that I figured out for me is, I've used this a couple times already, is with my fingers, I don't get enough of a blend. And with a slightly dense but larger size brush, I can easily diffuse the color where I want it. You can certainly build this color up, but I like kind of like the delicate pink that it brings to the face. I think it's actually really pretty. And I'm pulling in one of my eternal favorites, my Chanel Balm Essential. This is in the shade Sculpting. This is my favorite one. I love this so much. So I'm just going to put some on my fingertips and just lightly tap right across the cheekbone for a little bit of glow. If you're looking to try something like this that is not $48, who knows, it's probably $50, $52 by now. But if you're looking for something that is a little bit more expensive, it gives a very similar look where it looks hydrated and dewy and a little bit of glow without there being a lot of sparkle. You would really like the ones from L'Oreal, the Lumi Le Gloss. There's the Lumi Le Glow, which is like a traditional cream highlighter that has pearl and shimmer to it, but the Lumi Le Gloss, the gloss ones, are kind of like a sheer, and they're so beautiful. They're very akin to this, and they're like $12 or $14, and you're going to get a really pretty lived in sort of look, where it's not a powdery highlight, but it's so, I don't know. I love this one from Chanel, but if I can save you some dollars and you want to try something like this, the ones from L'Oreal are also beautiful. I picked up another one of these during the sale. This is the Mighty Fine Brow Pen from Benefit. I love this little brow pen. It does such a huge amount of work in a short amount of time, and I love that about it. So I'm just going to go through and start swiping on a little bit of color here. My favorite thing is that none of this ever looks like it's too much, and it ends up building color easily, quickly, but I never get that dot of like ink that lays down and then you have like a really dark spot. Just gonna brush through this. That's the one thing I wish that it had and it doesn't, is a spoolie. A spoolie would be great, but I will make do without. And with very little effort, my eyebrows are done. I love that about it. Well, eyebrow. Time to do the other one. I'm going to use the Ceranusse Étendue palette, and I haven't reached for this for a while, and I'm really, really excited. I'm going to do a real simple look today. That's my goal. Nothing too difficult, nothing too involved. But I am going to start with this light brown shade right here. I'm just going to throw this in the crease. I'm going to put some of that same color right underneath the eye, along the bottom lash line. I'm using my lazy brush. This is from Sonia G. This is the Worker Pro. And this is the one that I feel like I can do an entire eye look with just one brush. If you have a brush like that, let me know what it is. Like, what's your favorite brush? But this is mine, and the shape of it is just so easy because I can use it for all sorts of things. All right, I'm going to go into this shade right here, mix it with a little bit of the gray up top, and then give myself just a little bit of depth. I don't want too much, just a hint right here at the outside corner. And we'll go up to the arch of the brow with this and then out to the tail. I don't want to deal with any fallout today, so I am taking just a little bit of NYX glitter glue, and I'm going to tap this on the mobile portion of my lid, mostly on the inner 2/3, as close to my crease as possible. I'm going to grab this slightly duochrome shade here and just tap it right over. Oh, so pretty. That was so easy. I love like one brush to do it all. Love, love, love. All right, I need to throw on some eyeliner. I picked up the new Prada Lines Gliding Eyeliner. Somebody asked me how this actually stands up against some of the other liners in my collection, specifically the Victoria Beckham. And the one thing that I've noticed is the Victoria Beckham actually is really creamy. It's not to say this doesn't glide well, because they both glide remarkably well. But one, I feel like the Victoria Beckham lays down just a little bit more product because it is so creamy and so rich. You get more product distribution, whereas this being a thinner product overall, it glides just as easily, but you don't get the same amount of product laid down. So I'm going to give myself just as close to the lash line as I can get. I don't want to do a wing or anything. I just want to keep this really simple and just a little bit of lash definition. I don't want too much. There's no tugging at all with this. I feel like it also stays sharper a little bit longer than the Victoria Beckham because the Victoria Beckham is so creamy. Same with the Lisa Eldridge, her pencils. They tend to really be super creamy, super glidey, but then they're laying down more product, so it takes longer for them to set. This doesn't take as long to set, in my opinion, because it's not laying down nearly as much product. It does have the same style cap, so it gives a really airtight sort of seal, and I would really hope that to be the case because for this, I think it's $35 pencil, I definitely want it to last a long time. I do feel like it's doing a really good job of keeping its point because it doesn't distribute as much product as the Victoria Beckham one does. But if you really like the satin eye cajoles, you're going to get more shades that way, and if that formula already works really well for you, I don't know that you would need to swap it out and change it for something else. But if you're curious, I do like this pencil. I think it's nice. I haven't yet put it through its paces completely, but I will come back with an update on all of these products and make sure to let you know, yes for this, no for that. Is it worth it for the price? Does it work on mature skin? I always check back. I have an entire playlist of makeup updates. I will link that for you here in the eye as well as the description box down below. All right, let me curl my lashes. Last time I used this liner, I curled first, then I lined. This time, I'm going to try not to get any of it smudged onto my curler and then throw on the Prada mascara because I got the new Prada Scope mascara. I really liked the way that it looked, but I don't feel like I got the full benefits of the lengthening and the lifting that it said it was going to do because I curled my lashes way sooner and they might have had a chance to fall. So I'm going to curl one and then we'll apply. I feel like I'm getting a lot better lift this time. I probably waited too long to put mascara on my pre-curled lashes last time I wore this, but I'm really liking the way this looks. I'm getting some really nice separation. I'm getting some nice length. And the definition of each individual lash, it looks really good and it doesn't look gunky. It doesn't look like spidery or clumpy. So if you like a really kind of a clean lash, you probably would really like this mascara. All right, I'm going to curl the other side and do the other one. We might come back and add an extra layer of mascara for a little bit more drama. Okay, I'm getting some serious lift from this compared to last time. The other thing you want to keep in mind is you want to twist it all the way until it clicks closed, because if you don't get that click, you may have your mascara dry out. Just something to keep in mind. I do that with all of my mascaras. Some of them click, some of them don't, but even if it feels like it's closed, I even give it a little bit more just to be safe. All right, I don't know that I'm going to put any mascara on the bottom lashes today. Is that kind of weird? Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. So for my lips today, I'm going to grab the Merit Liner in Sportive and give myself just a little bit of help right along the Cupid's bow. And keep it inside the line everywhere else. And then I'm going to grab the Adults Are Talking from Sarah Creal. This is the Solid Lip Serum. And I picked up another shade. This one's called Energetic. And it's a really pretty sheer pink. I think this is going to go beautifully with the face I have on. Oh, I love the way this turned out. A lot of new stuff. This right here, I can't believe it's been this long. And I never tried it until recently. This Luminous Silk is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I'm glad I picked it up in the smaller size because I just don't know that I would get through a full size. I have so much foundation. I feel like yesterday's go with the House Labs Triclone Concealer was just bad skincare underneath. It looks so much better today. I really like the way this is wearing. This is beautiful. And the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder, great for the face. Just not the under eye. Not if you're dealing with mature texture under your eyes. If you're young, it might be perfect. I think that there's a good chance that either one of my kids could use this Micro Smooth Powder underneath their eyes and they'd look fantastic, but they're 15 and 17, you know? Teenage skin is very different from 50-plus-year-old skin, and that's what I'm dealing with right now. And I feel like it's not the worst powder I've ever put under my eyes, but she's certainly not doing me any favors for sure. All right, I do really like this Prada Lines eyeliner. I feel like this eyeliner is doing a really great job. And my goodness, I almost can't believe these are my lashes. This Prada mascara is fantastic. For me, the problem the first time I tried it was that I curled my lashes. Then I took the time to put on liner. Then I took the time to put on mascara. And this time, liner first, then I curled. And before I curled the other side, I put on the mascara. And I feel like that really is helping to hold the curl in place. And they're definitely lifted. And this is supposed to be a lengthening and lifting mascara. And I feel like I'm getting more of the benefits of it lifting by making sure I, curl one side and then apply, and then curl the other side and then apply, as opposed to what I did last time. I have notoriously short, straight, downward pointing lashes, and I feel like I have a whole new set of lashes on right now. These are just, boy, I look so awake. I love it. I love it. All right, other things. This is really pretty. I don't know that it was the right shade today with this look, but I like it quite a lot. And the Sarah Creal Adults Are Talking. Okay, I've been carrying this in my pocket and I haven't even had it a week. And do you see how much of it I've already used? Love, 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 love. I feel bad falling in love with the $42 lip balm, but this is so beautiful. I have another shade in Thriving, which is more of like a nude shade, but this kind of light pink shade is really, really pretty, and it's been working beautifully with a lot of different lip liners for a kind of an easier, more laid back sort of look. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. I would love to know if you've picked up anything new recently. It doesn't have to be during the Sephora sale, just anything that's come into your collection that kind of has you like, oh yeah, cool. Let me know what that is in the comment section down below. Also, let me know if you've tried any of the things that I have put on today. Let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you so, so much for making the time to watch. Have an incredible day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.